Is hosted by Tony Gapperstone. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
It's showtime. Take a little dramatic pause before you jump in there, Tony. Hello. It is episode 224. My name is Tony Gapperstone, and my pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a Caucasian guy with brown hair, and I'm wearing a cozy jacket today because it's cold in the Bravemaker studio with green faux wall and sunflowers and pink letters with striped wall to my right. I am so stoked to be here today as a filmmaker, an actor, and screenwriter living in the San Francisco Bay Area every week. In fact, today I have 2 podcasts that I get to do, which is so fun. Every week I get to talk to creative people of all kinds, makers of all kinds. And today I'm talking with a collaborator, someone who I've got to work with on a film and who's become a special part of the Bravemaker team. We're going to share some special announcements at the very end of this show. So I'm going to welcome actor and YouTuber and my guest for today, Belgica Rodriguez.
Hi, Tony. I'm Belgica Rodriguez. I'm an actress and YouTube content creator based out of LA and the San Francisco Bay Area. And I am a light-skinned Mexican woman with long brown layered hair. And I have brown eyes. And just to give you a little perspective of what else I look like, I'm 5'9" and I'm 180 pounds. So
okay, yeah. And the pink.
yeah.
Belgica is popping some pink, and it's very, if you are watching this live on YouTube or on our replay, it matches our Bravemaker pink, which is very, very cool. And so thank you for being intentional. Yes, I figured. Well, Belgica is so cool. By the way, I love saying your name, Belgica Rodriguez. I love speaking Spanish. I feel like my kids are reinvigorating because they're all in Spanish. All 3 of my kids are taking Spanish. So Belgica has her phonetic spelling or pronunciation on her little chyron here, which is super cool. So thank you for being on the show, episode 224. I am excited to have you and have you share all things acting and YouTubing. So let's start with the origin story. Let's start with how you broke in, how you got into this wild game.
So the very, very beginning was an acting class or a drama class in high school. So I was like ready to be a midwife. I chose my career because I was like, I have to, do something that my parents want. And so then my high school decided to have a drama class, and I was like on stage and I was like, uh-oh, I love this. I'm going to be an actor. So I went to college and studied theater and dance. And I also studied costuming, modern dance, like avant-garde. I know you recently had a guest who also did a lot of like very experimental dance theater kind of stuff like I did. And then after college, I just really didn't know what I was doing. So I would audition maybe once or twice a year. And then finally in 2017, because I graduated from college in 2013, in 2017 is when I signed with MDT Agency. I actually started auditioning more. And then I was in a bunch of commercials like Honda, Fitbit, Goodwill. I was background for 13 Reasons Why. I did a lot of background. That's how I made a lot of my money at the beginning. And I was still looking for something very creative to do because I wasn't, making any decisions on set. I decided to make a YouTube channel about random things. My friends started to ask me, how are you booking all these things? And then instead of typing up a long response to every single person, I started making YouTube videos about acting, vlogging my experience, sharing what works for me. And you always hear like, make your own work, right? And I was like, this is in a way making my own work. I'm putting myself on camera. But it wasn't until 2018 where I met a friend, Javi, who is one of my collaborators too. And he's a writer director, and we really started creating things. So we've done The Lease, the Airbnb, which are both short films. And then recently we did a whole crowdfunding on supportourstory.com where we raised $10,000, and I was a producer of Pizza Monster, which will be premiering in the Bay Area sometime in the spring, probably April. And then November of 2022, I signed with another agency in Phoenix, Signature Models and Talent. So now I'm also working with them. I just booked a commercial, and filmed a commercial with them in Phoenix a week or so ago. And now I'm still seeking representation in LA and still, sharing videos on YouTube about my experience and all of that. So that's where I am, auditioning a lot.
So cool. Yeah, and I've been following you for some time. I think we met at another mixer somewhere, somehow in the Bay, and we'll talk about how we connected and some of the work that we've done together. But yeah, if you are just hearing and or meeting Belgica right now, I would encourage you to go and subscribe to her YouTube page. Acting education is abundant on this page, and I've shared numerous YouTubes you've made to a lot of the students who are part of the acting community here at Bravemaker, because you're doing everything from like self-taping and networking and really providing like these invaluable tools, and you're making money on YouTube, which is amazing. So you have established yourself as a creator and as a go-to expert really in being an actor, and someone who's also this you're in multiple geographical places acting. It's pretty cool. So I guess I want to hear a little bit about like, what are you learning? What do you like because everybody right now is trying to figure out what the industry looks like and how to make money and how to do this. You're doing it full time for now. Can you talk a little bit about kind of some of the ways that you're making ends meet? You're also very transparent about finances and stuff.
Yeah. So one of the things I do on my YouTube channel at the end of the year is share how much money I spent versus earned through acting. And last year, because most of the year I didn't audition because I just had a lot of personal stuff happening, I spent a lot more money than I earned from acting. So I definitely share a lot about that. And I have over 800 videos on my YouTube channel. So I've said stuff I know I don't even remember. But yeah, I try to share information of like what's working for me. And as a friend, because I love to talk, and this is stuff that I would tell my friends and do tell my friends when I see them in person. And right now I am in between day jobs, but usually I do have a day job because I live in California. And even if you make like $1 million a year, you're still, just not that I make $1 million a year, but it's expensive. So as far as like figuring out the industry for me, I try my best to just do things that make me really happy and find collaborators that I just get along with well and I love hanging out with. And that usually, eventually, 5 years, 1 week, whatever, will create opportunities. And that's really cool that you could get to work with somebody today on a short film and then in 5 years on a TV show, on Hulu or something.
So let me try and remember. I feel as if we had this, like you're kind of talking about our story of connecting. We met at a mixer or something like that.
Area Film Mixer, maybe 2018 or 19.
Okay, cool. So shout out to Dave. Moutre and Marcus Sams, who founded the Bay Area Mixer, which I love attending. And you make these connections, and you see somebody, and you know, okay, I've seen you online, or I see you're doing your thing, and cool, let's connect, let's reach out, let's maybe try to. And everybody says, let's work together someday, right?
Yeah, but you really have to, when you're in that situation, you really have to be like, let's work together on this project this time. Send me your stuff. Let's schedule something, or else it's not going to happen. You have to put it in the calendar.
And you are super proactive. So, you know, by the way, and huge kudos and credit to you, because you are, my word for the year 2024 is generate. And I like the idea of generous and create being like one word together. Like, are you generating positivity? Are you generating films? Are you generating hope, etc.? So I want to be the type of person who generates these things in our art and in our craft. And I feel as if you totally radiate this in a very generative and generous way. Like, you give people through your YouTube, through your creation, you give people like props and kudos. Like, you benefited Bravemaker. So we meet in 2018 or 2019. We cross paths a few other places here and there. We know mutual people. And then I don't even know how, but you're like, hey, I'm coming to, you, before you came to the festival, you reached out to me and said, hey, I see you're doing these acting academy things. Can I do a YouTube video about it? And you interviewed me, you interviewed another one of our actors, and you made this full-on YouTube video that now rests and lives on our bravemaker.com/academy page.
I saw it.
Amazing. And you have brought students to us, Justin and Barbara and other people. So talk about that, because I think that is, it's who you are, and I believe it's who you are as a good human being, but it's also strategic and intentional because it's mutually benefiting you too, as you're mutually benefiting other people. Can you riff on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think there's two sides to that. The side where it comes from, like, I always truly try to come from love and wanting to do good things. You know, I think I'm like a good person inside, and that's genuinely how I just feel about myself. But first, I see something that I really like and I want to talk about it. And the same way I would turn around and text my best friend and be like, hey, Jasmine, there's a really cool acting class, and this happens and this happens and this happens. Instead of doing that, I film a video, talk about how excited I am about it. And then I usually try to talk to somebody that's involved with it. And so it's just more interesting, because I think my videos back in the day where I was just talking, sitting like this, literally like this with this backdrop, were boring. So I like to talk to more people and just bring in like things that you can look at and think about. And I just get very excited about things that I love, and then I share them on YouTube, and then I still will share those videos with my best friends and be like, look, I was talking to you briefly about this acting class, but please just watch this 10-minute video. It's going to talk so much about it, and let me know if you go, and like tell me how it is, because of course I haven't taken this acting class. So on the one hand, it's that specifically of, you know, me getting excited and sharing it. And on the other side, of course, naturally, because this is how my brain, and I think a lot of our brains, our creativeness comes out in that, oh, if I share a video, Tony's going to get more students to come to his class, more funding for the film festival, more funding for Bravemaker, and I want to be a part of Bravemaker. Maybe he will see that I, you know, am a huge fan and will allow me to be part of Bravemaker in any way. The film festival totally changed my life because it changed my perspective on film festivals, and that I want to go to all of them, even if I don't have any films in them, any participation or whatever. So it's just like, you know, all of it together. Whenever I interact with anything, my brain is always thinking about how much I love it. And then after, like when I'm trying to sleep at night or something, I just come up with ideas. Oh, what if I make this video or that video? Or what if we make a film about, you know, so.
I love the way your brain works. It's so when I get inspired by other people, I was telling my wife this this morning, because, or maybe it was late last night. I don't know. We had a mixer last night and I went to bed at 2 or 3 in the morning, which we're going to hang out on Friday in San Jose, which we'll talk about. But when you're around like creative people and people who work hard and are inspiring, And I say this like, because we all have to work hard. We have to work our butts off, and it's a lot of work
And a
to
lot of fun.
and a lot of fun. But I say like I'm living my dream, and living a dream takes a lot of work, and I love it.
Oh.
And I don't. It's work, but I also love it. Maybe I'm a workaholic. I don't know, but work recognizes work. And I know some people have an aversion to this word, but I think in the good sense of it, like the hustle, the hard work, the dedication, the work ethic. I recognize that in you, and when you see that in other people, it's like yes, it's like we're running the race together. And I don't feel like this competitiveness, which can often pervade our industry, but I feel like this camaraderie, this companionship. So thank you for doing that, because I see you do that with so many people. Your Southwest acting conference you just went to.
Yes. Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah. So I feel like you have established this really important and meaningful platform that I have. And I just saw you were going through all of our YouTube videos and commenting, I'm sure, to prepare for today. I was like so impressed by you.
I was preparing for today, and also I have been meaning to listen to all the podcasts because again, just like your festival, like I knew it was a festival, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to finally go. I heard you had a podcast. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm going to start listening. Like, this is really fun. So a while ago, I started from the very beginning. And every time I worked out, I would just listen to them. And every time I cleaned, I would listen to them. And then this time I was like, oh, I want to see what he's been doing lately, so I don't come in and, just ask the same questions or repeat myself. So I really just wanted to get an idea of what you do here right now, instead of like 4 years ago, 5?
6 now. Yeah.
Oh my
Wild.
gosh.
Okay. So yeah, thank you for doing that. You are definitely somebody that others who aspire and want to be acting need to learn from, because there is no waiting around in this business for your dreams and your goals to come true. So you have taken the initiative, you've created this platform, you're being generous and supportive of others, but you're also, I think too, like you're saying, you're benefiting because you're learning, you're growing, and you're making connections. And so the other cool thing, so you did this video for us in early 2023. And then you're like, hey, I want to come to the film festival and I want to make videos. And you bought a pass, which
VIP.
Again,
Woo.
yeah, I mean, like, again, I was like so impressed by that, because and I would have totally given you one, but you didn't even ask. You're like, I'm buying, I'm supporting.
Yeah, you actually offered me.
Did I? Okay, I don't remember.
You offered me like a media pass, and I said, thank you so much, but no, because I, one, wanted to support Brave Maker, and two, I know, anything that's free is going to taste better. You know what I mean? So I like to pay for things so that I have my true, like, this is what I actually felt. Nobody's paying me. I'm not being influenced, like nudged in any kind of like subliminal way, nothing. I just like to go into it like 100% me, So that's another reason why I didn't want to get a free pass.
Yeah. So super impressive. So you come to this film festival, you're partaking as a attendee, you're going to workshops, you're meeting people, you're recording yourself. You said you didn't get very much sleep. And we'll post this video in the chat and in our show notes if you're listening just on the audio for our replay and not watching live. So share some of the things that, as a actor going to a film festival, that you took away, and that why you think it would be important for other people to take advantage of these type of opportunities wherever they live.
Yeah, so going to the film festival, I thought was going to be just seeing a bunch of films, sitting in the dark, not talking to anybody, watching some really cool films. Like, I know this is vetted. A lot of people watch these films, so I knew they were going to be good. And so that's what I thought it was. And then I looked into it, and there's workshops, there's things you can go do, like for the VIPs. There were some VIP parties and like a breakfast. On one of the days, it was a lunch with documentaries. There's just so many opportunities, so many workshops to go to. And so even though I'm not necessarily interested in being a cinematographer, director, writer, whatever, I still went to writing workshops. I still went to writer panels, like all of how to make your first feature film, your TV show, because I wanted to learn about what everybody else does. And on top of that, I also got to talk to so many writers, directors, filmmakers in general. And really get to just like sit down and be like, oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, how do you know Tony or whatever? Just very chill and not have to be like, hi, my name's Belgica. I'm 5'9". Here are my profiles. It's just so much more natural to talk to people. And a couple of times I just got offer roles. Like I went to a filmmaking on your iPhone workshop, and one of the women that was on my team, because we ended up doing a 1-minute film on your phone, one of the women was like, hey, I'd love to work with you. Let me get your number. And she also got everybody else's number in our group. And then now we're co-producing and co-writing a web series, and we're bringing a bunch of other women filmmakers from the Bay Area together to create this web series. And then another thing, when I was in a VIP party, I was talking to Sean, the creator of Workaholics, I'm sorry, not Workaholics, Douchaholics, and he was like, hey, you should think of a douche and you should come on the next season. And I was like, okay. So of course, I'm sure he's seen my work before, online or whatever, my reels, but still the fact that like that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for us having conversations throughout the entire weekend. Maybe the first day you're a little nervous. The second day you start seeing the same people, you talk to more people, and you just make like great friendships and watch amazing films, get to do the Q&A talkbacks at the end and really get to know these filmmakers, why they make these films, how they make these films. Just super inspirational, and it just gives you like an extra connection of if you talk to them at the film festival and now you're sending them a self-tape, they're gonna really pay attention to your self-tape because they're gonna be like, oh my god, it's Belgica, I saw her at the film festival, the Brave Maker Film Festival in 2023. Just like a little extra excitement.
It is that planting seeds and kind of fertilizing in your own garden, if you will. And I was thinking about this image today after doing our mixer last night. Sometimes people say, oh my gosh, you're building an empire. And I kind of like that. But at the same time, like that sounds like conquering and colonialization.
Oh.
I'm like, that's not what I want to do. But I like the idea of like building a tree or planting a tree, like, and then this tree creates all these branches. And so as you're talking, I'm kind of visualizing that too, like the branches of your partnerships and your relationships. And you went to this workshop and you met this writer and now you're working on, like, it's just like really, really beautiful. And I know it takes work, and I know it's exhausting too, because I think in your video you were talking about like at one point you were trying to get up early, maybe you didn't, I don't know. I mean, those experiences can really take a lot out of you because you're giving and you're taking. It's overwhelming sometimes, like how much you're getting in those spaces too.
Yeah, you really have to take time and find times to relax, like, and eat. Because I know you weren't eating very much during the film festival, but one of the times where I was just like, go, like going in between workshops and films and everything, I grabbed one of the girls. Oh my gosh, I forget her name right now because, I only met her that day and now I follow her on Instagram. But I remember grabbing her and being like, have you eaten today? Let's just go sit down and eat for a second. And we just like ate in silence. And then we went to the next screening. So you really have to like force yourself to calm down, even if you want to make it to everything.
That's one thing I'm thinking about for this year. And someone said this to me after we went to Sundance. I think it was Tristan on our last podcast. He was talking about how we go at these film festivals. And there's a little bit of FOMO potentially. I also, like you said, you thrive on it when you love it so much, like the work, it's passion. But I'm like thinking, could we program some quiet space? Could we program a sensory room or a meditation space? I don't know. So I'm exploring that a little bit just so that we aren't creating and breeding, unhealthy, toxic traits amongst our creative community, because our creative brains need rest at times too, even at a quote unquote conference, type of thing.
Yeah. I think that would be super fun of like, if you are looking for a quiet place to go sit or a quiet place to go eat, go to this restaurant. If you are wanting to talk and meet new people, go to this restaurant and tell them that you're also at the festival. Because sometimes you don't want to eat alone.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to take that to heart and think about how we can create, because I am a huge extrovert. I make some assumptions that maybe you are too.
I am an extreme extrovert. I was just telling my friend that, when you go to a concert and when you get home, your ears feel like a little buzzy. if I don't talk to somebody, I'm not kidding. If I don't talk to somebody that day around like 2, 3 o'clock, I get that buzz in my ears and I just feel uncomfortable because I really, maybe something's wrong with me, but I like love humans. I
Yeah.
love just being around people.
And it's not that introverts don't. And I've learned a lot because I have a lot of
Mhm.
introverts in my life, people that I love and I'm married to and have given life to create in my offspring. I have often felt like I'm learning to listen to introverts and how they walk through the world because I often would take things
Mhm.
personally if I was engaged with someone who didn't really want a lot of me, because some people need space and
Oh, yeah.
time and reflection. So I think a lot of creative people, especially writers and a lot of actors, find themselves like overwhelmed in situations like that. So how do we help you build relationships in a way that's conducive to who you are? So I wonder if you,
Mhm.
as an extrovert, you probably have a lot of great tips and it comes easy to you. But I think I'm interested to hear some things you would suggest. Like last night at our mixer, trying to think about how people come into situations in a crowded room. It could be like scary and overwhelming, and people could walk in and want to walk right back out. I was like, well,
Yeah,
let's just have a whiteboard with some questions
I
for
saw
somebody who
that,
finds
yeah.
it difficult. So what are some tips and ideas and helpful strategies for you that help you build relationships, like the intentionality that you bring to this industry in that way?
Yeah, so I think the most like nerve-wracking thing is just going up to people. Definitely just read the room, or read the circle that you're in. If it feels uncomfortable, if you're not comfortable, just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna get something to drink, whatever." Like, get out of it. Be happy, be comfortable, but
Mhm.
also make yourself a little bit uncomfortable so that you actually get those conversations started. Since I'm an extrovert, I still get nervous sometimes where I'm gonna approach a circle, but I literally just say, "Hey, I'm just gonna come on in here and just join the circle." And if I feel that I wasn't welcome, it's awkward, "Oh, nice meeting you guys. I'm gonna go to the bathroom," whatever. Sometimes I do actually need to go to the bathroom. So if I say that to you, um,
Don't take it personal.
yeah. Uh, and just starting with literally anything like, "Oh, did you see this film? I like your shoes." Anything to just get it started because I think that's the hardest thing in networking and approaching people is getting started. And if
Mhm.
they're mean, don't work with them. I think it's like you really want to work with people that you enjoy working with. Sometimes I know because of money you might work with people you don't like, but honestly, getting started is the hardest part. So just jump into the conversation. Introduce yourself. "Hi, I'm Belgica. This is actually my second time at the Brave Maker Film Festival. Have you been here before?" If you're at a mixer, don't be afraid to say that you're new. We
Yeah.
all were new one time. So be like, "Oh, this is my first mixer." You can even acknowledge that you're nervous. That's okay. I'm nervous a lot of the times. And then once I get started talking, I'm like, "Oh, everybody's nice. Nobody's out to get me. I'm fine. I'm in no physical danger."
I have to acknowledge all of the self-critical, doubts that kind of
Mhm.
creep in, and I'll be blunt, but I think there's a lot of self-hatred sometimes as human beings we have for ourselves when we come
Yeah.
into a room, comparison, and I feel like I'm a pretty easygoing, friendly person that I think people like. But at the same time, I'll walk into a room, even a room that I feel like I belong, that maybe even I'm like hosting, and I'll all of a sudden feel like this onslaught of you don't belong here. Who do you think you are? You have nothing to offer. It's just the weirdest thing. And I know
Yeah.
it's not, I'm not alone in that.
And even if you're really nice and you come from the most loving place, whatever, there's still going to be people that don't like you, just genuinely don't like you.
That's right.
And that's okay because
Yeah.
we don't like everybody. There's some people that we don't like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not that we're going to go do bad things to them, but I'm just saying, like, if you do have those thoughts of like, "Oh my God, they're so beautiful, they're so successful, whatever," there's also people that are less successful than you and look at you that way. And just
Yeah.
like like at the end of the day, what matters is how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
So
And we need to feel better about ourselves. We need to be kinder to ourselves. We need to love ourselves. It sounds so cliche and woo woo, but I think it is important. Like I'm getting older. My body is slowing down. I can easily go like I should be somewhere else in my career. I thought I would be,
Oh, yeah.
when I was blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, like I am who I am. I can find ways to appreciate myself. And so if you're listening to this podcast or watching on the replay, I think find a way to affirm yourself today when no one else is telling you how great you are, how talented you are, how beautiful you are. We got to do it to ourselves. It's called self-love. You can't love other people if you don't love yourself.
Yes.
So Belgica, you are another great example of initiating is you are in a short film that I wrote and directed because at a mixer, in passing, I feel like you said something to me that was like, I'm like, I actually have a role.
I can tell you exactly what happened.
Tell me.
At the mixer, I introduced you to somebody, I think somebody that I met that day. I can't remember. I introduced you to somebody because I was like, Tony, Brave Maker Film Festival. Like I always tell people about the film festival because I just love it. Chef's kiss. And then you started telling that person what you were working on. And then you're like, yeah, and actors are paying into it. And I was like, ka-ching. I was like, how much? And I did get a little nervous. I was like, oh my God, what is Tony going to think of me? But I was like, no, I'm going to shoot my shot. Is that what anyways? And
yes,
then
shoot the shot.
and I was like, Tony, do you need any more actors to pay? Like, send me the info. I am down. So yeah. And again, it would not have happened if it wasn't for the mixer, because even though I know you and I follow you follow me, like that you didn't put it out there of like, hey, any actors want to pay, online.
Yeah.
So that's how
so Hugh, like I mean, I'm so encouraged by this and grateful. So let me just I'm tooting your horn a lot because it's you need your horn tooted. And also I'll say humbly as a filmmaker how it impacted me. But yeah, so I was working on this short film called Creature Comforter. It was kind of like a project that I had high, like the bar was kind of high because it was a lot of special effects makeup, which is really expensive. Creatures, you're making a zombie, you're making a Frankenstein, you're doing a Dracula, you're doing a Yeti. And I wrote this recognizing that I was going to partner with some friends. Shout out to Liz and Josie, who are our special effects makeup team.
They're amazing.
Like the materials itself cost a lot of money, and they were super gracious. Like, hey, Tony, like we can do this, as cheap as possible for our day rate for you, but we need to spend like thousands of dollars on materials. And I was like, okay, thousands of dollars. Whew. All right, we'll see what I can do. And so I just had the idea, like, could I ask actors to pay in for their materials? And I know actors want to act, and I never want to take advantage of actors because I'm an actor too. And I know, like, I want to act. And if I don't get opportunities to do so, I'll never do it, So I just started asking a few friends, and I wrote some of the roles for some people. And I had this one role that I had not cast yet, and you were at the right time. And because you initiated, I also expanded it a little bit because I knew you. And then I'm like, oh, I can shape this around this person. So again, huge kudos to you because it benefited and blessed me to see this character come to life. And you had so much fun with it, playing Chloe, the zombie. And yeah, you got to do, this really, how was it, 2 hours in the makeup chair, like getting the flesh painted and torn off from your face.
Yes, I loved it though, because I love talking to hair and makeup people and like become best friends with them because I get to like just talk to them for 5 hours in the span of 2 days,
Yeah, it was super cool, and I'm really proud of it. This guy Daniel in LA is editing it, which Daniel, so we have this mutual connection with him, and he's doing it as a partnership with Brave Maker too, because like again, we put as much money as we could into the film for art and props and food, feeding our cast and crew, which that can be a pretty penny. So if you're listening to this as a filmmaker and as an actor, this isn't for everybody. Some people don't like this. And I've had friends of mine say like, they don't like it either. I'm like, that's totally fine. It's your opinion. I am of the idea and of the mind that when you're at a certain level, you have to invest in yourself, and using your own money to make a project or to produce a project or to partner with someone else. Like I've used my savings to help my friends make their films and then got producer credits, and that's how I've learned how to do it. And as an actor, I like my friend Sean, like I was a doucheaholic and I volunteered to do it. because I was like, I want to be in this series. It's super creative. It's going to be
It's
on
so good. You
Amazon.
guys have to watch it. It's available on Amazon.
Yeah. So that doesn't mean like you should work for free all the time and should always be throwing money around. You did a really great video recently. I think it was in your end of the year money one about choosing those collaborators wisely. So do you have any kind of, red flags, beige flags, green flags that you would want actors to be aware of?
The biggest red flag is that if your gut tells you something is wrong, just skip it. Even if it ends up being perfect and amazing, if your gut is telling you, this isn't for me, skip it. And then as far as like, if you're going to be investing any amount of money, do not do it if you have any amount of credit card debt. Like, you need to financially be intelligent. And this is something that I'm still learning and still every day working towards, like not spending money on silly things like very, very expensive coffee every morning. But just be smart about like, can I actually afford to do this? And then the story, do I like the story? Am I going to have fun? Is this going to be good for my reel? Is this going to be a good investment? Is for my reel or a good investment for me emotionally, because it's going to be so much fun. And just, I would say, don't do it with somebody that you just met. Take your time, watch some of their stuff. If they don't have any other stuff, and you want to act in their stuff, maybe be like, this time, do you mind if I volunteer as a PA or, get hired as a PA, just so you can get the vibe of how they work with, because people in conversations are different than people under a lot of stress sometimes. So, and that goes for me too, that sometimes when I'm under a lot of stress, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I being mean? Am I like hurting people too much? And, so I'm still very much learning about, that whole side, because I'm dipping my toes into producing a little bit more now. And so, I think like everything at the end of the day, just be happy and be safe.
I like your reminder to check people out, like look at people's work, do a little healthy stalking on somebody. And I don't think we do this enough in our creative communities, is get recommendations for people. Like, look at who they've worked with in the past and reach out like, hey, how was it working with this director? How was it working with this actor? As someone who's worked with a lot of actors, we have a page which Belgica is on Instagram called Brave Maker Crew that I love to recommend actors and makers of all kinds to. And all the people that are on that page, I have worked with or know in some capacity, that if someone reached out and say, hey, I'm looking for a Latina actor to be a part of this short film or feature film or whatever, I would say, cool, here's the link, check out our page. I can tell you I've worked with her. This is what I know, blah, blah, blah. I think we don't do that enough to make sure that the people we're hiring or bringing on are people that are good to work with. Because I'll tell you this, I have worked with people that I would not recommend. And I have a handful of times, had someone reach out and say, hey, I saw you worked with so-and-so. And I was like, I won't work with that person again. That's all I'm going to say. I won't, because it wasn't a good experience. And then I'll leave it to that.
Yeah. And at the same time, I think everybody once in a while has a bad day. Their personal life is in complete like disaster. And so maybe they show up to work one day and they're not their best. So I think in like, if they really showed you that they're not a great fit, then sure. But at the same time, like, sometimes you got to take a deep breath and be like, okay, like for me, something that I don't like, but I'm learning to be okay with, is when people are late. Because a lot of my friends are late. A lot of my collaborators are late. And I just have to take a deep breath and be like, it's going to be worth it. It's okay. You already knew that they were going to be late, So that's like just one little thing of like, if somebody's late, like give them a little bit of slack. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm working on. Because I get like, sometimes I get fuming and I'm like, we both agreed on this time. And then I'm like, what's the big deal? What are you missing? What plans did you have, girl? Nothing. Relax, sit down.
I appreciate that. I think that is a good and high standard to keep for yourself as a professional person. You have the name professional in your Instagram handle. So that's something, that's a value you have, is you want to be a professional creative. And I think that's this is our job. It is a job. whether we're getting paid or not. Like we look at it as a job, and so I appreciate that. Which let's get to our special announcement here. When we were chatting about this thing that we're going to be doing together, we were talking alternatives, and you said something about like recommending other people. You immediately said, if I'm ever going to recommend somebody, it's going to be somebody that I know and trust is going to show up and do the job and be good to work with. And I thought, oh, that's interesting because that's a value you have for yourself. So you're on episode 224 of the Brave Maker podcast as a guest. And our special announcement is you're going to be coming on as a regular co-host and joining our team, our Brave Maker team of people who have and hold conversations with other creatives. So I'm really, really excited.
I'm so excited because I think, again, you know, I'm going to have a lot of fun talking to you, but also just the people that you have on here. I'm like the writers, the directors. I'm just like, oh! So I'm excited to also meet them.
And it's intentional. So Belgica is joining our team, which includes Daryl Morquillo and Priscilla Lamb, who are all our other ambassadors and podcast co-hosts with me on a regular basis. And yeah, when we have people on here, it's also intentional. Like I'm trying to learn, like teach me and encourage me. I want something from you. And I hope I also give something to our guests. But like you said earlier, it's also this relationship building thing. You never know what podcast guest might be a future collaborator. Yeah. So we are being very intentional with that. So I'm excited because I know you're going to bring some people that are outside of my circle of influence. And I'm excited to see who might be a Brave Maker Film Fest discussion or panel presenter because of coming onto the show. We just never know. So it's super exciting. So I'm really excited about that. I think you're going to be great. And we have y'all saying congrats, Belgica.
Thank you.
So yes, very, very cool. You'll see Belgica in the future. You're seeing her face popping up more on our BraveMaker.org Instagram, as well as YouTube page, BraveMaker.org as well. So thank you so much, Belgica, for being. Anything else you want to say about acting journey?
Just thank you specifically because I like knew you were a good person. I knew you were really hardworking. And then at the film festival is like when I really understood it, because the people that gravitate to you, like everybody was just so kind and so generous. And like Tristan was one of the first people I met at the film festival. And it was at that like opening night party. And I just walked up to him. I'm like, hi, like, you know, what's up? And then hello, he's like an amazing writer, actor, all of these things. The next day he had a writer's workshop, and I was like, that's so cool. And again, he's just like the kindest, also most beautiful person inside and out. So just like everybody that was at the festival, I'm like, of course you're here. You're so kind. You're so generous. You're so just like ready for conversation and chill instead of like, I already had my panel. Let me just go relax and go eat, you know? Yeah. So just thank you so much for creating Brave Maker and for allowing me to jump in and be a part of it in any way I can.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you. That's so encouraging and affirming. And yeah, shout out to Tristan and all our collaborators, roadmap writers in LA. Like it really feels like I'm like adrenalized right now in this conversation and overflowing from our last night mixer. There is so much good to be found, and we make life what we want it to be. Like we have these choices. Yes, there's a lot of things out of our control. Who says yes or who says no? Who likes us or who doesn't, like you said. But you find those people. You find the good people, the creative people. You form friendship. I believe this is a job and it's work, but it's also great because there's friendship. I find a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment in my creative partnership. I see them as friends. Like we're friends too and collaborators. To do that. So yeah, very, very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you.
I love making stuff with friends. Like when I find a friend that like whenever we're hanging out, we're just riffing off YouTube ideas, film ideas. I'm just like, duh! We just like hang out for 5 hours and I'm like, okay, I should probably go home now.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Well, the last thing before we do our Brave Faves is I know this Friday, I think it's sold out, but you are moderating a mixer in San Jose. Can you talk about that? Maybe people can follow along for the next one.
Yeah, so one of my collaborators, Javi, is one of the founding members of the San Jose Film Collective. They host a bunch of different events, screenings. So follow them on Instagram. But tomorrow there's going to be a Bay Mingle where I'm going to be moderating, talking with some really cool filmmakers in the Bay Area. And then after, there's going to be some mingling time where you get to talk to other people. The tickets are sold out, so if you're going, please come say hi to me and say hello. But if you didn't get tickets to this one, there will be another one, especially if you go and comment on their post and be like, hey, when's the next one? When's the next one? The more you tell them you're excited, the more they will make it happen. They will make it happen. So, and again, it's just like a lot of really cool Bay Area people, sometimes LA people, a lot of both. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited.
I met Lorena
Uh-huh.
last night. She came
Oh,
to our
yay!
mixer. Yeah, so I'm going to be there on Friday night. I know Adrian DeSantis, our VP, Brave Maker Board VP, is going to be there, and a bunch of other cool people. So let's keep making the Bay Area amazing. And I know you're in all different places, Arizona and LA, but the Bay is a heartbeat here, and we all are going to do great stuff here. So it's very cool, very cool. Awesome. Well, do not go away. Episode 224. It's time for our Brave Faves.
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
Hey, my brave fave is, oh my gosh, HBO, the season 4 of True Detective. Y'all, I know True Detective has been a topic of conversation this season because season 4 is hot. Jodie Foster is doing her thing, solving this wild supernatural crime in the Arctic. I am digging it. I love crime thrillers. I love mysteries. I love supernatural stuff. And Jodie Foster is on her game here. If you have heard of True Detective, you know there are a lot of seasons, 4 of them, all different. They're anthologies. The first one was with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. Everybody says that's the best one. And then second season and third season are not connected, but there's some interesting parallels between this season 4, and season 1 that I am really digging. So I fave this one 100%. If you watch it late at night, be prepared for a little jolting, a little chill. It is a little creepy at times and scary, but the acting is on point. The writing is super interesting, and they deal with some cool themes. So check out Jodie Foster on season 4 of True Detective. It's called Night Country. What you got, Belgica?
I need to watch that because I've been seeing ads for it, and I think I saw season 1 and 2, but for whatever reason, I haven't seen the new seasons. But now I'm gonna watch it. This
Watch
is the ad I
it.
needed.
There you go.
So my favorite thing of the week is this novel, I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erica L. Sanchez. And if you're a Mexican daughter, great for you. If you're not, amazing for you still. Super well written. And this week they announced that the film is back on because they were going to do a film, I think, with Netflix, and now Amazon is taking over. And America Ferrera is going to be the director, her directorial debut. And Linda Yvette Chavez, who also did Gentefied on Netflix, if you guys saw that, another like Mexican, core story. So I'm just so like, I bought this book for my mom, for friends, for my sister. Like, just, I love this book, and I still have it because I've read it twice and I want to read it again. So I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. It's going to be a fun film too.
Dig it. Film directed by Academy Award nominee America Ferrera. Yes, from Barbie's monologue, which is super exciting. That's awesome. I love that. That's a good brave fave, a book. Check it out, everybody. Order and reach out to Belgica if you read the book, or if you want acting tips, go to her YouTube page, follow her on IG. This is a gem of a person, a generative person who is generous and kind and creative. And Belgica, I'm super, super grateful that you're on the show today and that you're going to be with me on a regular basis. Thank you.
Same. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I want to say thank you to you for being a listener and or a partner and or a donor. There are 42 of you that give a donation of any denomination once a month. And I want to encourage you, if you're listening to this or watching this, could you consider becoming a donor? One of my friends and Bravemaker partners, Eric Quall, shout out to Eric, drove from Sacramento last night for our mixer. And he is a regular donor. And he said, Tony, encourage people to become regular donors. Any amount. He's like $10 a month. That helps us do our work. We pay, I'll give you a transparent number, $50 some a month just to have our live stream platform. To be able to do the show every month costs us $50 some to just have this platform. So your money goes toward everything from our film festival venue rentals to the insurance, for our productions, to help feeding our crew when we do our films. And if you are a Bay Area actor or beyond, we have remote ways you can connect as well. So make sure you're following us on all the pages, especially for our film festival, which is going to be July 11th through the 14th of 2024. The April late deadline is coming up. April 1st is a late deadline. If you have a film, short, feature, animated, live action, experimental, music video, we want to see it all. We would love to host you at the 6th annual event in Redwood City, California. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And to my friend and collaborator, Belgica Rodriguez. You'll be seeing her in the future. Thank you, Belgica. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. See everybody later. Brave stories change the world. And now that you are a podcast co-host, you get to say, and you are the story.
And you are the story.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at bravemaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BRAVEMAKER to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.